Good morning, dear students. I, Enaniya, is present before you today again with this lecture on interpretation of statutes, and our topic for the day is classification of statutes. Yes, yesterday too we studied classification with reference to the various other things such as classification with reference to the matter, classification with respect to the duration. So today we will try to understand the various or the different kind of statutes based on the object. Yes, today we'll study classification of the statutes with reference to the object. What aim that particular statute wants to achieve. Yes, this is very obvious that we try to decipher the same by reading and understanding the preamble of that particular act. Okay, so let us begin. To begin with, there are different statutes which can fall under the category of object. Okay, so the different statutes having different objects are namely, first, codifying statute, consolidating statute, curative or validating statute. Okay, other than this is repealing statute, remedial statute, amending statute, enabling statute, or again next one is disabling statute, declaratory statute, explanatory statute. So these are the various different kinds of statutes which can be classified with reference to the object. So the first one in this regard is codifying statute. Okay, so as the word codifying is made from codify. Yes, it clearly suggests that an act which has come into force or which has been created by the legislature to codify a particular subject matter. Yes, it can be earlier it would have been either in the form of just the guidelines of the judiciary. Okay, so the statute might be altogether non-existent, or it might be in the form of some customs. Okay, so as you know, codifying work is very essential. So the codifying statute does the work of codifying the uncodified statute. What is the benefit? What is the object? To make a systematic representation or a systematic presenting of the intent of the legislature. Okay, that might be anything. Okay, so it removes confusion, and Sir Jeremy Bentham was a champion of codification. This we all know and we have studied in jurisprudence. Coming on to the next kind of statute is consolidating statute. Yes, what do you mean by consolidating statute? Consolidating statute, as the name suggests, is a statute which is a collection of more than one statute which comprehensively covers the subject matter. Okay, so it consolidates and codifies the same so as to exhaustively cover a particular subject matter. Let us take an example. CRPC is a very good example on that. Earlier, the law was not in a particular place, so we tried to codify the same as well as consolidate the same. Okay, so this is the story of consolidating statute. CPC is another example of consolidating statute. Okay, so it is a collection of more than one statute, and all those statutes are brought under a single umbrella. Okay, and it exhaustively covers all the subject matters relating to the particular thing. Thereafter, we'll study curative statute. Okay, what is a curative statute? A curative statute is a statute which cures the defects of the earlier acts. Okay, so it removes the defects of the earlier statute. Is it clear? So it removes those defects and thereby makes those acts legal. These might be the acts of the public authorities. Okay, so it makes those acts lawful, which were earlier lawful or which would have been decided appropriately by the judgment of the court as unlawful. Okay, so it cures the defects. Curative statute. Now we'll try to understand a declaratory statute. A declaratory statute is a statute which is created in order to remove confusion or any sorts of doubts which have arisen in the acts already in existence. It might be a common law or it might be any kind of enacted law. Okay, so it removes any sorts of ambiguities which are arising. It is done mainly when the judiciary interprets the meaning of any particular word in a particular sense, whereas the legislature thinks that it is a deviation from what it had actually in its mind or what was the legislative intent. It is not being followed. Okay, so it might be identified wherever any act contains a preamble. It contains the word declared and the word enacted. So these are the words which are generally used, so we can identify easily a declaratory statute. So whenever any misconception is placed in terms of interpreting, it removes those ambiguities and doubts, and therefore it declares that the meaning of the word is not this but something else. It also has a retrospective application. So a declaratory statute can be retrospective in its nature, but it can never reopen those matters which are already decided. Thereafter, let us take an example of a matter in appeal. Okay, so a matter has been decided by the lower court and it is pending in appeal, during which an act is passed. It is applicable upon that as well. Yes, it is the twist, and it's very important to learn that as well. Now let's take an example on this. The Income Tax Amendment Act 1985 added an explanation 2 in section 40. Okay, so this was a declaratory statute. Now we'll try to understand what is a remedial statute. A remedial statute is a statute by virtue of which a new remedy is conferred. What is that? By virtue of a remedial statute, the enforcement of a right of a person that becomes more powerful, that enforcement is made stronger. Okay, so by providing that particular remedy, what you do is you try to remove those wrongs in a efficient manner. Okay, What happens in a welfare state? In a welfare state, the main object of creating any sort of legislation is to cure any social vices and to address the social demands. Okay, and this happens altogether in a better manner when those social vices are removed, thereby achieving social reforms. Okay, so the society at large is benefited by that particular legislation. Okay, of late, the legislature has been using the word socio-economic legislation, that is for the purpose of improving the social economic conditions of the society, the people. Okay, now let's take an example of the remedial statute. Uh, the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923 and the Maternity Benefits Act 1961. These are the very good examples because these do provide the benefits to the society at large. Now, in order to identify a particular remedial statute, we have to look for the words for remedy whereof. These are the words which will be utilized in the beginning of that particular statute. A remedial statute receives a liberal construction in favor of the person for whose benefit it has been created. So, in case of a doubt, a suitable interpretation in favor of the person for whose benefit it was brought forth will be done. Thank you, dear viewers, for listening. Have a great day.